Hey y'all, it's Tosh. Sorry again, I come to you looking so rough. Eventually, you all will see me cleaned up again, I promise. We are in the absolute middle of our renovation, and let me see if I can show you. Yeah, buddy. Oh, there's Steve, my little cat. He's not little, he's huge. Try to fix this again. Okay. It is very, very hot in here right now. You can hear my window air conditioner going full blast. We are working on getting a new heating and air unit that is not in yet. And yesterday it was about 90 degrees here, and we had big gaping holes in our walls where they're trying to replace all these old windows. So I'm still kind of recuperating from the heat from yesterday. Okay. Corey and I got back from our anniversary trip this past Sunday. Yes, Sunday evening. I did not weigh in Friday or Saturday like I had been doing because we were down there and I had planned on enjoying my anniversary. I did enjoy it very, very much. We had the best time, but I enjoyed a little bit too much alcohol. Food-wise, yes, I ate things I should not have ate, but it was very... what's the word I'm looking for? It was very modified, or much smaller portions, much smaller amounts of the bad foods than I would have done had I not been trying to keep an eye on what I was actually eating. We walked so much while we were down there, and we went to Tennessee and went to Biltmore. We walked, I think Friday evening, we walked around like 4 miles, and Saturday his pedometer showed over 8 miles. I actually did okay with most of that, and I'll get into that in just a minute, but it has wreaked havoc on my body. I'm a whole lot of woman to walk that amount, that distance. Not saying that, I can't. That's not at all what I'm saying. It's just that my joints, my bones, my whole body kind of rebels a little bit and just lets you know, hey, you're asking a lot of me right now. I have more swelling in my feet and my ankles and legs than I ever even come close to seeing on myself. To the point where it kind of freaked me out a little bit. I have had mildly swollen feet and ankles at best. When we came home Sunday evening, I had like true blue cankles, y'all. Oh yeah, it's bad. I expected the scale to have gone up. Again, we went to several wineries while we were down there and a few distilleries and indulged a little bit too much. So I expected to be holding a lot of fluid. Not as much as I was. And I wasn't even going to weigh in when I got home because I knew the scale would have went up. However, for accountability, I did. And I'm almost ashamed to I am ashamed to even say it, but I mean, it is what it is. I got on the scale yesterday morning, Monday morning, and it showed 341 pounds. For those of you that have not been watching these videos from the start, when I first went to my surgery consultation, the highest weight I had ever seen on the scale was that day, and it was 330 pounds. As of last week, about a week and a half ago, I weighed in at 325 pounds. So a little math right here, that is 16 pounds gained. I didn't even think that was possible. So much so that I couldn't freak out. I didn't cry. I didn't do anything. I stood on the scale and stared at the number and thought, this scale is broken. I have got to go get a new scale. I just got back from vacation. I'm going to have to shell out money for a new scale because this is broken. It's funny how those excuses just come up automatically. Let me find something else to blame. I actually have a backup scale, as weird as that sounds. This one was a digital scale. My other one is not. It's very old school. I got on it, and it said the exact same thing. I got my husband and made him get on the scale, and his weight stays pretty much the same for the last 10 years. But it was up maybe 5 pounds, which I expected, again, because we both overindulged. So the scale's not broken. I'm a little broken. I mean, what can I say? At this point, I knew that it was fluid retention. I could see the fluid retention, for one. I could feel it. When you are this heavy and you can feel bloated, like you are really bloated, all I knew to do was just push water. I propped my feet up every time that I was able to sit down, but I was up moving around most of the day yesterday. But I propped my feet up as much as I could to try to reduce that swelling. I pushed water. I drank and drank and drank and drank. And when I got on the scale this morning, less than 24 hours later, it showed 335 pounds. So it has went down 6 pounds overnight, which seems crazy. But I'm still swollen. I'm still bloated. I can still see that. So I'm hopeful that through today and over the next couple of days that fluid retention will go down, and so will the scale. Okay, while we were at Biltmore, I had a little, it wasn't little, I had a big freak out. We were walking back to our vehicle. We had been walking all day in the heat and around dozens of people, like more like thousands of people. It was crowded. But anybody that's not been, I recommend you go. It was awesome. The walk back from the car, or back to the car from where we were at that point, was probably about a mile, maybe a little over a mile. And it was mainly uphill. Not a steep incline, just gradually uphill. Probably about 3/4 of the way back to our car, I couldn't breathe. I could not breathe. It felt like my body was just giving up. And I know that it wasn't. I know that it was my mind just basically saying, you've never walked this much. You've never done all this. You're putting too much on me. I started crying just because I felt so low at that point in time. I felt so low. I ended up videoing it. Corey had walked over to see some kind of something on the side of the trail, and I went ahead and went to the car, and I did video my walk. I'm debating on whether or not to even attach it to this. I may, I may not. I don't know. Truthfully, it's one of the hardest things I've ever seen from myself. I don't know. It's just, it makes me feel emotional right now just thinking about it. I just felt awful. I felt awful with myself. I felt awful with the thought that I had let him down. That I couldn't just be happy and smiling and ready to go. And I was up until that point. I don't know what happened, but it was like something snapped. And I went from fine to miserable in a second. When he got back in the vehicle, I kept apologizing, and he said, why are you sorry? You actually were, we've walked 8 miles today. Like, you've done more than I expected you to be able to, truthfully. And he was being very supportive. He was not in any way being demeaning. But that was hard to hear. For any of you that have struggled with your weight and struggled with your ability to do physical activity, especially when your significant other is not out of shape. Corey is not very fit, but just to give you his stats, he is 6'1", and he fluctuates anywhere between 207 and 220. So he's maybe, according to the BMI chart, he's a smidge overweight. He's not a heavy guy. He can do a lot more than I can. And it just, for him to say, you did more than I expected you to be able to, just makes you wonder, okay, well, how many times have you not done something you wanted to do because you didn't think I would be able to, or you knew I wouldn't be able to? How many times have you put something you wanted to do on hold? How many times have I let you down? It's really hard. It was really hard. I don't know. I'm at a loss at this point. I can only try harder and realize the error of my ways and hopefully fix this so that this time next year we can go on, even if it's the exact same trip, just to see how much different things are, and to never ever have the thought that I have held somebody back, because that's awful. When I hold myself back, that's different. I can control that. But to hold back somebody I love, it's awful. Okay. But I will hopefully update you all again tomorrow. Sorry, this ended up being longer than I thought it was going to be. I'm going tomorrow to have my EGD bright and early in the morning. So I'm actually nervous about it. I don't know why. I'm more nervous about that than I am the surgery for right now. I guess because it's closer. But that is the last test or appointment that I have to go to before they will send my chart off to my insurance to hopefully be approved. I still have to get off all of this weight that I have put on over the weekend. Stupid choices. But I am hopeful that by this time next week, I will be at least back to what I was, if not lower than that. So I will let you all know how that EGD goes. And let me know in the comments with this swelling. I always said my highest weight when I weighed in at the surgeon, 330 pounds. Now that is no longer the highest weight that I have seen on the scale, would you all count 341 as your highest weight? Even though I know that's not a true, accurate weight. That may sound like a stupid question, but I'm just curious because I don't know which one to use from this point forward. So let me know what you think down below, and I will talk to you all again really soon. Bye. Hey y'all. I can't talk loud. 1, I'm walking. 2, I can't breathe. My husband and I are at Biltmore for our anniversary, and we had to walk back to the car. It's probably like, I don't know, 1.5 miles, maybe, uphill. And I just broke down walking on the trail because I can't breathe. I can't do it. I mean, I did it. But I can't do it. Like, he's missed out on so much because I'm just not able. That's not fair. It's not fair to anybody. It's not fair to myself. It's not fair to him. Look at the sweat. It's gross. I know. I'm sorry. But I need to document how absolutely shitty I feel. This is awful. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. No one should ever feel like this.